Welcome to the U World Order Showcase Program, the platform dedicated to highlighting visionary entrepreneurs and coaches who are shaping the U World economy. Each week, we're celebrating the power of the individual and coming together to uplift and empower one another to reach new heights of growth and prosperity as we showcase a coach, company, or entrepreneur stepping out to be the change they want to see in the world. With our collective efforts, we're creating a world where every person has the tools to realize their full potential and thrive like never before. Join us today as we chat with this week's guest to learn how they got started, what they're doing, and how they're making a difference in shaping the U World Order.
Hi, and welcome to the U World Order Showcase program. Today, we'll be chatting with Melanie McCool. She's the entrepreneur's hypnotherapist and a certified master trainer of hypnosis. She runs a thriving group called Entrepreneur Burnout Recovery Hypnosis for Women. With more than 20 years of experience as an entrepreneur, Melanie combines the neuroscience of success, money mindset, sales confidence training, hypnosis, and NLP to quickly remove subconscious blocks and end the cycle of procrastination and self-sabotage. Her mission? To facilitate your breakthrough so you can reach your highest potential. Please help me welcome Melanie McCool. So welcome, Melanie. We're so excited to have you here. Tell us, I did your introduction, but just tell us a little bit about how you got started, what it is you do, how you specialize in helping entrepreneurs recover from burnout.
Well, my story in a nutshell is I've been in business with online business as a online course creator and then a speaker, trainer, leader, building international sales teams. And I have a brick and mortar business now. So I've run many different types of businesses successfully since 2000. But success can look one way, right? But actually be wreaking havoc on the individual. So that's really my story, is that in 2017, I had what I think of now as the big one. So and I'm not talking about a heart attack, please. That's another big one. But I probably burned out at least 4 times. I can look back and think about what burnout actually is now. And I probably had about 4 times before 2017, but in 2017, it took me out. So people often associate burnout with its physical symptoms. They don't necessarily recognize the upfront mental symptoms that get really bad. Well, in 2017, before I even knew what was happening, I had already burned out half of my thyroid. So I had what lots of people talk about, adrenal fatigue and that kind of thing. So I had already done that. And then what I didn't know is that your thyroid can take over when your adrenals are done. And by the time I even knew what was going on, half of my thyroid was gone. And I was really so ill that I had to step out of my career. I had to close my business down so that I could recover my mental and physical health. Your brain changes at the worst of burnout. And so when I was there, I was like, okay, first of all, I'm scared to death because I was an entrepreneur, business owner, because I had children. That's why I've been doing this all this time. And I didn't even know if I could feed them, let alone or myself, let alone them. And I was like, I have to sort this out. And plus my identity is in this beautiful thing called entrepreneurship. I love to move and shake and do things and make things happen in the world. And I was like, what the heck can I do? What was the most efficient way? And also I'm very scientific minded. Mm-hmm. So I looked and it said hypnotherapy was going to be a solution for the symptoms I was experiencing, to relieve my symptoms, to reduce the anxiety that was in my body, help my brain heal, and get my inner confidence back. I was like, got to do that. So I did that. And it was so fast, so fast it was a matter of months. And I remember waking up one day and going, oh my God, my brain, I have a brain. I have a creative bone in my body. I can actually be an entrepreneur again. And I think it was right around that time I was like, I have to do this for a living. I can't go back to what I was doing. And so I got certified. I stepped into this world, and it's my mission to help women to avoid the fate that I experienced. Because as I said, success can look lots of different ways. And from the outside, I looked like I had it all. I had the money, the career, the accolades, the travel,
So what did it look like for you when you were starting to burn out? Can you go back to
well,
what you were
burnout,
experiencing?
burnout is a unmanaged stress. Okay. So, and stress, people often think of burnout, and I think about the stress that's coming from the outside. So
Mhm.
I probably thought, oh, it's my industry. Oh, it's the company. I probably was putting, stress outside of me
Mhm.
as the problem. So it would have been like an overwhelming amount of stress. And even though I was doing all the self-care stuff, I mean, I'm a meditator, I'm a health nut. There's a kind of stress that exists 24/7, and it's in here.
Mhm.
So it was actually the mental stress 24/7 that got me. So um, it felt like I couldn't sleep. So insomnia was one of the first real, oh gosh, this is getting bad. And then what really got me was the way that I was being with the people that I loved, because
Mhm.
there were behavioral changes. I was snappy. I was responding in ways that I didn't recognize myself. So there was insomnia. And then there was I'm being a jerk to the people that I love the most, and they're why I do this thing. This isn't right. So those were like
Mhm.
alarm bells were going off. So I started to do things like, you look it up. How do you manage stress? And so I did more of those things, and I started to take adaptogenic herbs, and I did all this stuff. But what I know now is that you can take those kinds of things, but it's like you're taking the poison remedy while you're sucking the venom through the fangs
Mhm.
24/7. So you have to address the underlying stuff versus just trying to fix it. But that's what it looked like at first. And I wouldn't have known that could lead to such severe brain changes. And obviously, I would never have tried to take myself out and kill half my thyroid. I had
Right.
no idea. I had no idea that was even possible, or I would have reeled this thing in a long, long time ago. I was making a huge amount of money. It wasn't that I was struggling to be successful in that way. In fact, it was more like I was making so much money that I felt like I had to work to prove that I was a good
Worth
person.
it.
That's a whole nother, we can get into that. That's a whole nother reason. That's
Mhm.
the source of 24/7 stress stuff that goes underlying. Yeah.
Trying to
That's what it looked
justify
like.
why you're worth all of this
But not
instead
just
of
not,
just
no, it wasn't justifying why I'm worth all of it. It was more like I'm a good person because I'm working for it. Two
Mhm.
different, there are underliers though. That's another one. You pointed another one out. But mine was
Mhm.
more like, I've got to continue to work hard because otherwise I look like somebody who's getting something for nothing, and they're good for nothing. Get that? All
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Different way. All right, cool. But so burnout looks like exhaustion that you cannot rest from. It
Mhm.
then becomes and then it's a cynicism, or a matter. It's like you're feeling a distance from your business. You're just like angry, even angry, or
Mhm.
feeling guilt and shame about it, whatever. That's the second real mental symptom that you see. And then the third is just like procrastination station. I am not productive. I can't be bothered. So those are the mental things of burnout. And then, as I see as a medical hypnotherapist, all the way down the line is when the physical stuff starts to show up.
And how fast does that end up showing up?
Well, it
Yeah.
depends on the underlying health of the individual.
Mhm.
Uh, I do think that some people get notifications from their body earlier than others and ignore them. They push through exhaustion. They might take things to help them to get sleep, which is kind of not necessarily best kind of sleep. But yeah, I can't put a time frame on it. I think that some people are more resilient physically. But the symptoms they say that 75% of doctor's visits are because of unmanaged stress. So lots of stuff that you
Man.
wouldn't even think was because of stress or your work rather. And you're ending up at the doctor for like hormonal changes, weight gain, high blood pressure. We could just go down that list, like diabetes. We could just go down a list of chronic heart disease, all that stuff. All of that's related to unmanaged stress too. It's not necessarily, a woman might not walk into the doctor saying, I'm burnt out. She's saying, I don't feel well. Right?
Right. Which is really helpful to our listeners because we all walk around with some sort of unmanaged stress in our lives, and looking for the signals of, I'm experiencing this. Maybe I should get help with somebody that actually can help me rather than just going to my doctor who's going to say, here, take these pills. And
that's what they do. They don't even necessarily, and I get this a lot. I have clients who come in and they're like, my doctor didn't know anything about how you could help me. I'm like, that's not surprising to me. It's not like they get hypnosis school or any amount of, they get they learn less about hypnosis or hypnotherapy and its uses than they do about nutrition. So where do you think that leaves us? Right? They have no idea that there's something called medical hypnotherapy and that it's been approved by the American Medical Association for more than 50 years and it's used in hospitals and, but they don't know, doctors don't know. So you go to the doctor, you're anxious, they give you a pill. That's all they can do. They're trying to keep you from jumping off the cliff, but they don't know any different. So yes, thank you for having me here today, because seriously, this is the way that we can let people know that there are holistic, natural ways of helping yourself. Not a replacement for medical treatment at all. But my friend, if you can, you can use this in the whole mind body, connection here. It's far more efficient than just going one or the other.
I know that meditation will rewire your brain, but how are meditation and hypnosis similar, different? Why do they have different names?
Yeah, beautiful. Well, because meditation is a way of bringing your brain state down a couple of notches, hopefully, but at least a notch down from you and I are talking in beta, right? So in meditation, your goal is to bring your brainwave state down a couple of levels. So to be in that level of peace, it is a restore and renew space. Okay. Your body will, if you're using like some of the techniques that I teach, you can use your breathing and use heart coherence and just come down to that space. Really wonderful for you. I wish everybody in the world would do it. The limitations with meditation are that, and I don't want to call it like that. Okay, hypnosis is like meditation with a goal. That's the difference. Okay. And the limitations with meditation is that sometimes people think that they're going to sort out their problems in meditation. I mean, we're desperate. Listen, I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but I was meditating like a mofo. Okay. Because I was trying to sort this thing. I was like, what the heck is wrong? I knew that there was something in my deep, deep psyche. All of my issues were psycho-emotional. I'm a health nut, for God's sake, right? It's like, I was in there in meditation and I was like, there's a wall. There's literally a wall that I can love myself so much in this meditation. I can love and love and send all this love to my body and heal and heal. And then when I try to get to the root of whatever the heck this thing is, there's a wall. So I went looking for what the heck the wall was. And it turns out it has a name. And hypnotherapists know how to knock the wall out of the way. I'm like, I'm going to go see them. That's it. It's called the critical faculty or the critical factor. And it literally is a wall. It is, if you think about it, if you didn't have this wall, you'd probably go nuts because all of the crap your psyche has put
Mhm.
behind the wall to protect you so that you're resilient, surviving, not thriving, but surviving human being.
Right.
All its purpose is to keep you alive. It doesn't matter, doesn't really care if you're happy. It's not about keeping you happy, I promise.
Mhm.
It's all about scaring the heck out of you to keep you safe and alive. So yeah, so that wall. So the difference between hypnotherapy, and I'll talk about hypnotherapy versus just hypnosis, because hypnosis, you and I think of it as if you're listening to a recording, or if a hypnotist does a group session. You can only really call that hypnosis, because hypnotherapy, then the next level would be the one-to-one. So we have a conversation, listening to the underlying programming, and then doing the work to unravel that, to unwire what is limiting or damaging, and
Mhm.
rewire what would be most healthy for the client. So it's another level of, and then the hypnotherapist gets behind that wall. That's what we can do. So even sometimes I try to tell people that hypnosis is great, but it's probably going to be a short-term fix. So you might feel great for a couple of days. And that
Mhm.
might even be enough to get rid of smoking, because smoking is just a habit. Once the habit's gone, you can get rid of it. But stuff like confidence or your own inner belief about yourself, a hypnosis recording, because I provide those, that can give a boost. But ultimately, the old programming, it's kind of like you tried to write over an old cassette tape, and you could kind of
Mhm.
hear the old stuff underneath. Still
It
kind of
keeps
like,
coming back. You mentioned that it was kind of a quick transformation. How long would you say your average client works with you?
so my goal is always that my clients would see a breakthrough or have significant experience and results from the very first sessions. Let me just say that first. But what I find is, because we're talking about burnout and we're talking about brain changes. Okay, so
Mhm.
it's literally, it's a
Rewiring the
6 week,
chemistry.
yeah, 6 weeks is when I see people just like somewhere within the first couple of months, they're lighting up. Well, actually, they're lighting up within a month because they're getting sleep.
Mhm.
Okay, getting good, deep, restorative sleep. Their body's
Yeah.
starting to come online. And then we work with the underlying belief stuff. So essentially, we work with the clinical crisis, physical stuff first, and then we get
Mhm.
into well, what was the root cause of this, and get that out of the way. And then they get to say, well, who am I without all of that? So we do 6 weeks, and we do 6 weeks without them. Hopefully they haven't had to take a sabbatical yet. Right. So
Right, right.
my goal is to get women before they're at the point where they're like, I have to shut the thing down. I can't do this. Because we can help them to stay in the game
Mhm.
and continue on the path to growing their business without ever burning out, and without sacrificing anything at all that they love. So, yeah.
So, women are your primary, the primary people that you help, though I'm sure you can help men too, but
I do, and it's interesting because my marketing is definitely geared towards women. My heart is for women to, well, my heart is actually to help more women to be really wealthy, because women can change the world. I mean, everybody can change the world, but our hearts and our love, the ripple effect of the work we do. I just feel this is life changing, world changing. So my marketing is for women, but interestingly, I have to say, still to this day, if I look at my client roster, there's more men that tend to take action than women. And I think that's part of the root of the problem, is that women are just so used to overgiving and giving, and until, I mean, they'll bring their children in to see me for something before they'll get help for themselves a lot of the time. So it's just
really rampant in our society where
yeah,
women are just like,
we're givers,
everybody
give,
before
give.
me.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
DIY. I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah. I
Especially the
can
high
figure this
achieving
out.
women. Oh,
Yeah.
DIY, I do it myself. I'm gonna push through. Well, that was my story until it was too late. Until I was like, this isn't working. Yeah.
So what's your main message to everyone?
Mm. My main message is that you are far more powerful than you've been led to believe. And that if you master your subconscious mind, you can live an epic life. So, and what I mean by you far more powerful is that there are mechanisms for changing at the core of your being, not just your beliefs and your thoughts, but even your physical body. And as a medical hypnotherapist, it's one of the most thrilling things that I get to do is to teach people that they can control things that they had no idea they had control over. They can essentially not have panic attacks. They can make IBS be a thing of the past. They can put autoimmune into remission. And they just don't know until they know. And so my message is you are far more powerful than you're led to believe. And there's a whole lot of story underneath that, but I think that that's really what my message is. And that you deserve to have the desires of your heart, because we don't even know what the ripple of your love is yet. And so if you're in crisis of any kind, I'd love to be able to help you to put that stuff behind you so that you can actually, so the world can have your blessing.
Right. Because that's what it's all about, is helping each other with our unique gifts. But when we're in crisis, we can't share them because we're just in survival mode, and
you can't even see the future, let alone what you're going to do to help somebody else. Right.
Yeah. So how can people get a hold of you and learn more about you, or maybe schedule a consult with you?
I think the easiest way would be to visit mindworksco.com. That would be my website. But they can find me on social media. So Melanie McCool, I don't know if there's another one of us around, but find me on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn as well. I'm lots of places, but find me, and on every one of those platforms, there's a way for you to click through. And if you're in crisis, there's a link to book a burnout recovery call, and we can personalize your journey so that you're, finding that you can bounce back, recover, thrive, and make all the money that you want without ever burning out, ever.
That is crucial, the not burning out part. We will put the links below in this episode. It's been really great chatting with you, Melanie. I really appreciate your time, and it's pretty amazing that there's relief for the struggle that almost every woman is going through on some level or another, whether they're in denial about it or not.
Right. There's so many reasons, and they can all be in the past where they belong.
That's great news.
Yep.
Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Jill. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the You World Order Showcase program. We hope today's episode has inspired you to consider how you can leverage your unique skills and talents to be the change you want to see in the world. If you're ready to take the next step and turn your passion into a 5-figure part-time business, we invite you to schedule a private consult at heartlifecoach.com. During our Passion to Profit Breakthrough session, we'll work together to identify your strengths, clarify your vision, and develop a tailored plan for achieving your goals. Don't settle for mediocrity or let fear hold you back from pursuing your dreams. With the right guidance and support, you can build a thriving business that brings you joy, financial freedom, and the opportunity to make a positive impact in the world. Head over to heartlifecoach.com today to schedule your Passion to Profit Breakthrough session and take the first step towards creating the life you've always wanted. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the You World Order Showcase program.